So good morning. So in the previous sessions, we have discussed about the exception handling and the types of exception handling and the keywords try block, catch block, and finally block, as well as we have seen the throw and throws keyword. And then we have seen the multiple catches. So multiple catch blocks. So multiple catch blocks can be achieved by using the Boolean OR operator. Boolean OR operator. That means a single catch block can handle multiple exceptions. Generally, a single catch block can handle only single exception. So a single catch block cannot handle multiple exceptions at a time. So that can be possible by using the Boolean OR operator. Boolean OR operator that we have seen, and then we have seen the throwable class. So all the exception classes are subclasses of throwable class. Throwable class. So that is the main class for exception handling. We have seen the methods in the throwable class, and then we have seen the checked exceptions as well as unchecked exceptions, and then we have seen the checked exceptions and then unchecked exceptions. So checked exceptions are nothing but the compiler will check for the exceptional handler. The compiler will check for the exception handler. So the if the programmer doesn't write any exception handler, the compiler will return an error. At the compile time itself, the compiler will return error. So unchecked exceptions means the compiler does not check for the exceptional handlers. The compiler cannot search for the catch blocks. So whether the exception handler is written or not, that is not necessary for the compiler. The compiler will not check for the exceptional handlers. So those type of exceptions are known as unchecked exceptions. So runtime exceptions are examples for the unchecked exceptions. So except runtime exceptions, all the remaining exceptions are checked exceptions. So Java supports checked exceptions as well as unchecked exceptions. So C++ supports only unchecked exceptions. C++ supports only unchecked exceptions. Java supports both the checked exceptions as well as unchecked exceptions. So and we have seen the examples for the checked exceptions as well as unchecked exceptions. So next concept is try with resources. Try with resources. Try with resources. Try with resources. That means a try block in general. What is the syntax try block? So this is the syntax for try block. Try within the braces. We can write some exception logic here. So this is the syntax for general try block. Try block. So try with resources means we can have the try block as like this. Try block. So this is the try block. So within this braces we can have the resources. Resources information. Resources information. Within these braces we can have the resource information. So resources means generally it's maybe a file or database or any internet connections. So all these things comes under resources. To execute something we need some resource. We need some resource. If you want to perform any addition operation, C is equal to A plus B, we need a resources. The resources are A value and B value. So for every programming or every mathematical operation or any logical operation, we need some resources. By utilizing that resources, the program will execute. So generally what happens is if you open, suppose if you have the file, we have the file operations, F open, F close. Thus whenever if you open the file, you have to close the file. F open, after the performing some action, we have to close the file. F close. In C programming, we will use the F open and F close. So each and every resource has to be closed at the after performing the task. After performing some logic or some operations, we have to close the resources. So generally, most of the programmers will forget to close that resources. So file open, file close. In general, the programmer will forget to close that thing. So after the Java version 7, the Java developers has defined an interface. So that interface is auto closable. So auto closable is an interface. Auto closable is an interface. So auto closable. So this, it is an interface. So auto closable is an interface which consists of some abstract methods. Interface is nothing but it's a collection of constants and abstract methods. So auto closable is an interface supported by the Java 7. After Java 7 versions, auto closable interface is added to the Java library. So the main purpose of this auto closable is to close the resources. Automatically, the compiler will close the resources. That means connections. File, if the file is opened, if the programmer will, if the programmer forgot to close that file, the auto closable interface can close that file. That means auto closable interface can have the methods. So the auto closable interface has the method close, has the method close. Auto closable interface has the abstract method close. So this method performs the closing operation of the files opened by the programmer. So this is all about the try with resources. So if you use the try block as this, like this, there is no need to close the file. Automatically, the compiler will close the file by using the auto closable interface. The compiler will close the file. The auto closable interface consists of the close method. Close method. So let us see one example regarding this try with resources. So practically, how the try block will be. So let us see the one example. So let us see this. So it's the program is for usage of try with resources program. That means, see this one. See this syntax. So generally try block will be like this. Try, within the try block we have some statements. We have some statements. So this is generally the try block. But we are using the try with resources. That means try block has some parentheses. Try block has some parentheses. So within that parenthesis, we can pass some values or some methods or some objects or something. So in that parenthesis, we can have some resources code. We can have some resources. Generally, try block will be like this. So this is the general syntax of try block. So if you want to utilize the resources, then we can have the syntax like this. Try block will have the parenthesis. So that we will see what happens. So I'm importing the IO package, and then I am giving the class name as try with resources. So this is the driver class, main class. So this is the public static void main method. So this main method throws the IO exception. This main method throws the IO exception. So this is the usage of throws. So throws is used whenever you declare the method header. So throws will be used in the method header. So this is the method header. This is the method declaration. So in the method header, we will use the throws keyword. So this method throws some exception, IO exception. And then I am creating variable str of type string, non-primitive data type. So the string value is Java is purely object-oriented programming language. This is the string. And then byte, I am using an byte array. So the byte array name is bstr. So the byte array will store the str values. str value. So str value is Java is purely object-oriented programming language. So str dot get bytes. str dot get bytes. That means this entire string is divided into the bytes, So each byte will be displayed in the output. That is the get bytes method. And then I am using the try block. So throw ఏంటంటే throws will be used in the method header. So if you want to use the throw, means the throw will be used within this method. Within this method, here we can use the throw IO exception, throw arithmetic exception. Like that we can use the throw. So but throws will be used in the used along with the method header. Next, try block. So this is one try block, this is another try block. So let us see how the resources will be used along with the try block. So try, so this is the braces, this is the braces. So within this braces we will uh, we will deal with the resources. So here we have the input stream and output stream. So these two are the some classes, predefined classes in the IO package. These are the predefined package, input stream and output stream. That means stream of bits are stream of bits are displayed. That means stream of bits or bytes are handled. So this is the output stream. Output stream is a class name, output stream. So this is the object name. File out is the object name. File out is equal to new. Here I am creating an object here. Here I am creating an object. File output stream, my file. My file. So my file is this one. So in the my file, Java is purely object-oriented programming is saved. So this is the resource we are using. So here resource is my file. So in the my file, the content is the Java is purely object-oriented programming language. So this is the content of the my file. So for k is equal to 0, k less than length of the byte stream, k plus plus file out. This is the object dot write. Write is a method. So this method can be accessed by using the object file out. File out is an object. File out dot write bstr of k. That means if the k value is 0, first byte will be displayed j. If the k value is 1, bstr of 1 a, j a v a. So like that. So byte wise the message will be displayed. So this is the output stream. Next I am using the another try block, input stream. I am using the object as file in new file input stream. The file name is my file. So here I am displaying the contents of the my file. Here I am displaying the contents of the my file. So same for I is equal to 0, I less than string. Then I am printing the content. System.out.println file in dot read. So to display, read, to edit, write, read operator, read operation and write operation. So here I am using I am converting the byte to char. So I am converting the byte to char. So here I am defining the byte data type. So I am converting this to char. So typecasting, explicit typecasting. So data type is placed within the braces. That is explicit typecasting. File in dot read. So here the aim of this program is to illustrate the usage of try with resources. Try with resources. So that means try block can have some resource value. Resource. So for that I have created the object file out and file in objects. So file out is for writing of the file. File in for reading of the file. File out for writing of the file. That means my file. Java is purely object-oriented programming language. This can be written by using the method write. By using the method write. So after writing, I am reading that content. I am reading that content. So the content can be read by using the syntax. So this is the usage of the try with resources. So let us check the output. So this is the output. So contents of my file are Java is purely object-oriented programming language. Here, what we have done is the entire string can be loaded to the file, and the contents can be read from the file. Contents can be written to the file, and then contents can be read from the file. So that can be done through the try block. That means there may be a possibility of some exception. There may be some possibility of exception. That's why we have placed this reading and writing within the try blocks. So output stream and input stream. So these input stream and output streams are used to read the continuous bytes of the code, continuous bytes of the data. So this is all about the try with the resources. So next one is inheritance in exception handling. So how do you handle the inheritance concepts in the exceptional handling? That means we have superclass and subclass. So what happens when you use superclass and subclass? That means superclass has some methods. So that superclass methods can be used by the subclass. That means method overriding will be happening. That means same method name, same method syntax, same method signature will be used. That means method overriding will happen. So how do you handle that situation in the exception handling? How do you handle that situation in the exception handling? So let us see that. So these are called as catching subclass exceptions. Catching subclass exceptions. That means how do you catch, how do you handle? Catch block means handling. So how do you handle the subclass exception? So in inheritance, we have the superclass as well as the subclass. So superclass has some methods, subclass has some methods. So in general, superclass methods are overridden by the subclass methods. Superclass methods are overridden by the subclass methods. So that means same method name, same signature will be there. So how do you handle the exception handling in that cases? Subclass, if you want to, if the subclass has thrown some exception, what happens? If the superclass has thrown some exception, what happens? So there are so many cases in this exception handling. So let us see one by one. So I think there is no theory for this. Let us go for the programs. So let us check this program. So here I am defining the class. I am importing some IO package, and then I am defining the class A. So which has some method display, and then it has the some method definition as superclass display method. This method end of the method and end of the class. So this is one class. So here I have defined the class A. Here I have defined the class A. So let us see what happens in the next. Class subclass E1. So subclass E1 is a subclass which extends the properties of A, class A. So class A is the superclass A. Class A is the superclass A. So here subclass is subclass E1. Subclass E1. Subclass E1 is the subclass for class A. So that means subclass E1 can access the methods, access the class members. So that means here display method. So this subclass E1 also uses the display method. So that is the method overriding. Void display. So here I am throwing the exception. I am throwing the exception. Throws IO exception. Throws IO exception. So IO exception is an checked exception or unchecked exception. So IO exception is a checked exception. IO exception is a checked exception. So in this method, we have defined subclass method is displayed. In this subclass method is displayed, and then main method public static void main. So here I am creating an object one for class A, and I am invoking the display method by using the object one, and then I am creating the object two for class subclass E1. Subclass E1. So I am invoking the method by using the object 2 obj2 dot display. So this is the program. So here what happens is here we have two classes, class A and class B. Here we have two classes. So here same methods are used, void display, void display. So in these situations, how the exception handling will be performed, how the subclasses will be accessed. So how do you handle that situation? So here display same method, superclass and subclass. We have same methods. How do you handle that situation? So here the concept is, let us run this program. So before that, compile this one once. Java C. So let us see. So I got the error. So that means overridden method does not throw IO exception. The error message is the overridden method that does not throw IO exception. So the overridden method is display. Overridden method is display. That means the subclass method is overridden. That means the overridden methods cannot throw the IO exception. So here IO exception means checked exceptions. Checked exceptions. IO exceptions means checked exception. So in the subclass methods, we cannot use the checked exceptions. We cannot use the checked exception. So IO exception is a checked exception. So this is the superclass method. This is the subclass method. This is the subclass method. So subclass method cannot use the checked exceptions. Cannot use the checked exceptions. So if you use the checked exceptions, then compilation errors will occur. If you use the checked exceptions, you get the compilation errors. That's why whenever you are performing some exception handling in the inheritance concepts, we have to be much more careful. We cannot use the checked exceptions. We have to use the unchecked exceptions. We have to use the unchecked exceptions. So unchecked exceptions are runtime exceptions. Runtime exceptions. For example, arithmetic exception. Arithmetic exception is a runtime exception. So those type of exceptions are accepted by the subclass method. So this is the one condition. We have to remember this condition. We have to use only unchecked exceptions. Unchecked exceptions. In the subclass methods, in the overridden method, we have to use the unchecked exceptions. We cannot use the checked exception. So that's why we got the compilation error. So let us see by giving the unchecked exceptions. So same program. Here I have given the arithmetic exception. Here I have given the arithmetic exception. So arithmetic exception is an unchecked exception. Arithmetic exception is an unchecked exception. So in the overridden method or in the overridden method, we have to use the unchecked exceptions. Then only the program will execute. So if you want to have the exception handling in the superclass and subclass methods, you have to be very careful. So in the subclass, if the subclass throws some exception, the exception must be unchecked exception. The subclass exceptions are always unchecked exceptions, always runtime exceptions. So let us see the output for this. Java C subclass so I don't have any errors. Java subclass E2. So here superclass method is displayed, subclass method is displayed. So obj1.display means superclass method is displayed. obj2.display means subclass method is displayed. So the program is executed. The exceptions are handled. So here we have to remember in the subclass, that means in the overridden method, we have to use unchecked exceptions only. We have to use unchecked exceptions only. That means runtime exceptions only. We cannot handle the checked exceptions in the subclass methods or overridden methods. So this you have to be remember. Then in either of these two cases, we have thrown the exception in the subclass only. Thrown the exception in the subclass only. So what happens if you throw the exception, if you throws the exception in the superclass? Superclass itself throws the exception. Superclass itself throws the exception. So in up to now we have seen the subclass exceptions. Subclass, what happens if you give if the subclass method throws the checked exceptions? What happens if the subclass method throws the unchecked exceptions? So the compiler will handle only unchecked exceptions, unchecked exceptions for the overridden method. So what happens when when the superclass method throws the exception? When the superclass method throws the exception. So let us see. So same program, but so here the method is display. So superclass method, this is the superclass. A is the superclass. So this is the superclass method. So superclass method throws some exception. Superclass method throws some exception. Array index out of bounds exception. So array index out of bounds exception is checked exception or unchecked exception. So this is a unchecked exception. This is unchecked exception. So next, this is the overridden method, subclass method. So it also, subclass method also throws the some exception, throws the exception. So this is the exception class. This is the array index out of bound exception class. Array index out of bound exception class. So which is the superclass among these two, exception and array index out of bound exception? So here throwable is the main class. Throwable is the main class. So in the throwable, exception is a subclass for throwable. So under this exception, we have the runtime exception. Runtime exception. Under this runtime exception, we have array index out of bound exception. So this is the class hierarchy. So this is the class hierarchy. So throwable is the main class. Exception is a subclass. Then runtime exception is a subclass. Array index out of bound is a subclass. So this is the class hierarchy. So while using the inheritance concept, we have to follow the order. So here what happens is, here this is the subclass, this is the superclass. Exception is a superclass here. Exception is a superclass. Array index out of bound is a subclass. So in the superclass method, we have to use only superclass exceptions. If you want to use the exceptions in the subclass also, then we have to use the subclass exceptions only. Suppose here we have the exception means, suppose if the program is like this, here void display throws exception. Void display throws exception. So exception is a superclass for for these things. Runtime exception, array index, out of bound index, for these two classes, exception is a superclass. So if the subclass is going to throw some exception means this exception must be subclass of exception. This exception should be subclass of this exception. So that should be taken care. So if you give like this means you will get error. Or you don't have the subclass may not throw any exception. That is possible. So if in this case what happens is, if the superclass is going to throw an exception, so that is valid. The superclass will throw an exception. So what about the subclass? If the subclass will throw the exception, or if the subclass cannot throw the exception. If the superclass has thrown some exception means the subclass cannot throw. In general, the subclass cannot throw any exception. If the subclass is going to throw some exception means then that exception must be subclass of that superclass superclass methods exception. That should be subclass. So that should be followed here. So that is the main thing in exception handling. When the superclass method throws an exception. Let us see this output first. Java C, the program name is subclass exception3.java. So I got an error. So the compiler has written some error. So why? Because so here array index out of bound. Array index out of bound is a subclass method. Subclass here. This is a subclass. Exception is a superclass. Exception is a superclass. This cannot be possible. In the subclass methods, we have to use the subclass exceptions only. So let us modify this. So the subclass cannot throw any exception. This is one case. So let us save this. So the program is compiled. So let us see the output. So here I got the output. Superclass display method, subclass display method. So here condition is, whenever you use the superclass method, if the superclass method throws any exception, then the subclass method can throw the exception or cannot throw the exception. So if the subclass method throws the exception, then that exception must be subclass of the superclass method's exception. So this is the one condition you have to be remember. So this is all about the exception handling in inheritance. So next concept is custom exceptions. That means user-defined exceptions. So the Java supports the user-defined exceptions. So all the exceptions we have written is predefined exceptions. So there is a possibility to have the user-defined exceptions also, user-defined exception messages also. So that can be possible in Java. So those type of exceptions are known as custom exceptions. Custom exceptions, user-defined exceptions are custom exceptions. So, so there is a procedure to have the custom exceptions. So that means first rule is custom exceptions should extend the exception class. So whatever the exception you are going to define, that should be extend the properties of exception class. And then second one is create the constructor for your defined class. And then third one is define your exception in the try block. Handle it in the catch block. So these are the steps to be followed while creating the exceptions of your own user-defined exceptions. So first one, you have to whatever the exception you're going to create, that should be subclass of the exception class. That should be subclass of the exception class. And then so in that we have to initialize that constructor, initialize that user-defined constructor. That can be done. Then we have to define the logic in the try block, and we have to handle that in the catch block. So these are the steps to be followed while defining your own exception handlers. So let us see the program. So here I am creating the class user exception one. So user exception one is a class which extends the exception. So this is the first step. That means I am going to create an exception. Exception name is user exception one. User exception one. I am going to create an exception. That exception name is user exception one. So which extends the properties of exception. So if you want to create any exception, means that should be a subclass of exception. And then second step is we have to create the constructor of type string. So user exception one is the class name. So that should be the constructor name, and then constructor will pass the string value, string message. That means out of bound exception, like we are getting the division by 0 exception. That is a string value. So that's why the constructor will initialize the value as some message, some string type message. So then in the constructor we will initialize the super of message. That means here we have the subclass, we have the superclass. So we need the superclass to be executed here. Superclass method has to be executed here. So to differentiate the superclass and subclass methods, we will use the super keyword, super of message. So this is the initialization of the constructor. So this should be same for any type of exception. The syntax should be followed for any type of exception. Any type of user defined exception, we have to follow the syntax. You have to follow the syntax. So yeah, we will change only the name of the exception. If you want to change the name, we can change the name. So this is the default for any type of user defined exception. Then we need a main class and main method. So I am creating the main class. The main class name is custom exception one. And here we have the main method, public static void main. And I am initializing the variables a is equal to 4, b is equal to 9. Of type byte, I have given the type as byte. Data type as byte. I have initialized the a value as 4, b value as 9. So I am right. This is the try block. The logic should be in the try block. So this is the try block. So I am using the condition as if a by b is equal to 0, a value is 4, b value is 9. If it is equal to 0, throw some exception. In the throw, we will write the exception. So this is the method. The method header, we have the throws exception. So within that method, we are using the throw. So here we are going to create our own exception. That's why we have used the new operator, or else we can have the throw IO exception, throw arithmetic exception. That can be possible. So here we are using the new type of new user defined exception. That's why new operator, and then the user defined exception name is user exception one. User exception one. So user exception one has some string. It is an integer division. It is an integer division. So that's why this is the initialization of the string. This is the constructor. So constructor has passed some value, that message. It is the integer division. So this is the constructor initialization. This is how we can use the user defined exception. This is the try block. Next, catch block. So catch, the exception name is user defined exception one E, some object E. So here I am printing the exception has been caught. I'm printing some statement, and then system.out.println e means this object dot get message. Get message is a predefined method in the exception class. Get message means this one. It is an integer division. It is an integer division that should be displayed here. So this is the usage of the user defined exceptions. So let us see the output for this. So Java C program name is custom exception one bar Java. So program compile, custom exception. So this is the output. The exception has been caught. It is an integer division. It is an integer division. So here, so this is common for any type of user defined exception. So if you want to create user defined exception, we have to use this syntax. We have to use this syntax. So in that, we are creating the main method and main class. In that, we are creating the user defined exception as like this. If a by b is equal to 0, throw, this is the new one. Throw, we have to use the new operator. We have to use the new keyword here. New, that exception name, that means the constructor name, and the constructor initialization. So in general, we will use the syntaxes like this. Suppose class is student, means student obj1 obj1. We have created the object like this. Obj1 is equal to new constructor name student of, we can pass the parameters 10 comma 20, like that we can pass the parameters. Same thing we have used the here also. New user exception, exception name, and then within the braces we are passing the some content, some message. Here we have used the string. That's why we have passed the string here. If you give the integer, we can pass the integer values. So this is the syntax for creating the user defined exceptions. So in today's class, we have seen the two concepts. First one is try with the resources. Try with the resources. That means try block can have some resources, file names, file close, that thing. And then we have the inheritance in exception handling. And then we have seen the custom exceptions. So we have seen the three concepts today. So do you have any doubts? So, okay, thank you.